Creepers left to rise, buzz like crazy. Everybody's trying to stimulate it. Spiders in the mirror and feel this can't be right. Back to the scene of a Friday night, to a blessed collision still frozen tight. Spear drinkers, Cupid and the sound of her first chime. And why did you argue? We're dreaming of those eyes, the best part of my life. And when we make love, babe, don't make a sound, the clock won't turn around. Ooh, you turn around, 2,000 little fires. And ooh, you circle.
Good morning, my friends. This is a little different setup, isn't it? I'm trying something new with my vlogs. I'm filming some different B-roll. I am putting you in some different spots. You camera friends, you friends watching this right now, because I have kind of felt a little bit uninspired with my vlogs lately, and also a little bit stressed and pressured. I don't know why. It's all self-inflicted stress and pressure, you know what I mean? Like the kind that is in your head. Also, I feel like I am in a reading slump. I gotta be honest. I finished Devil in Disguise on Sunday, and I finished a couple of books that I loved that Jesson had picked for me, Transcendence and Bittersweet. I finished the Wallflower series and the Ravenel series from Lisa Kleypas, and I just sort of felt like reading slumpy, you know, like I had also been reading a few arcs that were historical. One was a contemporary, and I wasn't vibing with any of those. They were all sort of like 3 stars, which probably should have been lower, but I was being nice. Anyways, so I decided what I was gonna do is I'm going to do a 24-hour reading vlog, daily vlog type of thing, because I want to do something new with my vlogs, but I also kind of want to, oh my gosh, I forgot to plug the microphone in. Hold on. This is what happens when you try new stuff. Okay, can you hear me better? I'm so sorry. Anyway, just let's pretend, I'm sorry, I'm very sorry about that. So I forgot what I was saying. I don't know what I was saying. Oh, I wanted to have the weekend free to just sort of read whatever, because lately what I've been doing is I kind of put off filming my vlog until maybe later in the week, and then I'm rushing all weekend long to get books read, and I don't want to do that. Like, I just want to read for fun. But I want to include you on it. You know, I've also been super busy with work and some family stuff, and so I haven't been able to film very many videos to just go up throughout the week, so I've been relying on my reading vlogs as the one video that I put out a week. Anyway, this is all information that you didn't need to have, but I'm giving it to you anyway. So my point is that today is a 24-hour reading vlog. We're going to just read one book, focus on that one book, and give you my thoughts and feelings on that. And I am trying to decide which book it will be. So I'm not sure yet. I haven't picked it yet. My choices are the books that I am most thinking about that I want to read. Okay, so the 2 books that I am thinking I'm going to read, well, not 2 books, the series. So what I'm considering is going back to the Travis series by Lisa Kleypas and either picking up Sugar Daddy or Smooth Talking Stranger. I kind of want to start at Sugar Daddy because I know that's the first book, but I also kind of want to start Smooth Talking Stranger because I know that's Jesson's favorite and I feel like I'm going to love it. So I'm not sure if I'm going to pick one of those, or my other option is Tide by Carrie Ann Cole. I read Torn a few weeks ago because Jesson recommended it to me on my TBR, and I freaking loved it. It became a new all-time favorite book. I love that book so much. And she said, well, if you like that, you'll probably love Tide too. So I think as I'm talking this out with you, I think that's probably the book that I'm going to pick. I'm pretty sure that's the one that I'm going to go with. So this is just me introducing this vlog and just talking way too much at you probably. I am on my way to go to the gym right now. I am supposed to be testing my 1 rep max deadlift today. I've been training and getting ready for that. I have had some problems with my chronic illness flaring up, which has really had a big impact on my strength, most specifically because of how it affects my ability to brace when I am about to lift. When you brace your core, it provides a lot of strength, stability, and power. And if I'm not able to brace properly, that really, really makes my lift suck. So I don't know if I'm going to actually get a new 1 rep max or if I'm just going to see what I can do today. So I may get some footage of that. We'll see. We'll see how busy the gym is today. I don't know. If it's too busy, I'll just tell you about it later. Anyway, that's all I have to say. I think I'm going to go with Tide. I've decided I'm going to go with Tide, and then we'll go back to the Travis series. That will probably show up on my August TBR because I definitely want to read that for sure. So thank you for joining me with this vlog. I hope it's not too chaotic for you, and I'll see you in a bit.
I came from the mud, there's dirt on my hands. Strong like a tree, there's roots where I stand. Oh, I've been running from the law. Hope they won't shoot me down soon.
Hello. Okay, we've got a reading update. I've been listening to the audio for this. Oh no, my book it's got a scratch on it. Of Tide. Tide was the book that I decided to go with, and my studio is a mess because I filmed my Wallflower Ravenel video just now, and then I was on a live show with Tori, Bree, and Riley, and Avery about chronic illnesses, which was really great. That was on Tori's channel. I'll have that video linked down below if you want to check it out. And it's been a busy day. Anyway, I did get a new deadlift PR of 305 pounds, which I am extremely excited about. My previous 1 rep max was 300 pounds, and hair in my face, hold on. Okay, I'm back. The hair is gone. So this week I've been doing strength blocks back to back, and Monday I tested my squat 1 rep max, and I didn't even hit my previous 1 rep max. Like, I got a lower number, which is usually a sign that something isn't right, you know? So I was pretty discouraged about that, and I was nervous about today's deadlift max. I went into it just thinking that I was just going to see what I was going to do. I'm going to try and keep it low stress, and I got 305 pounds. After I got that, I felt like I probably could have gotten more, but I just mostly didn't want to decrease. I didn't want to get lower than 300 pounds. So I was happy with that. So I put some video in of that, and I've been listening to this. So I am now on chapter 8, I think. Let's see where that is in this book. This is a very large print book. Let's see. Where am I at? Okay, this is where I think I'm at. No, that's a little bit further ahead. So I'm about 100 pages in to this book so far, and I'm really caught up in this story. I'm loving the writing style. It is an alternate points of view between Tyler, who we haven't seen a whole lot of. I believe his name is Tyler. But we have heard from Holly. Holly is the heroine. And the book opens from Tyler's point of view. She is 15 or 16 years old, and he finds her in the woods in a hole in the ground, and she's there with a dog. He hears the dog, who has been debarked, like pretty not in a nice way, has been debarked. He hears the dog try to bark, so he goes to find her, and he finds Holly, who isn't speaking, and Tyler is also not speaking. I'm not sure if it's because of trauma reasons or what. We do see him a little bit in Torn, but I haven't really gotten his story yet. Mostly we're just focusing on Holly. So apparently Holly was kidnapped when she was 5 years old. So for 11 years old, she's been missing and kidnapped. And Tyler is the one who finds her in the hole, and he rescues her and the dog. And right as he's getting them out of the hole, her kidnapper comes, and she is very worried this is the bad man. And so Tyler actually ends up killing him because he is going to kill him if he doesn't. And right at that moment, the police show up because Tyler called 911 first to have the police come. And they assume that Tyler did it. So they end up taking Holly back to her family, to the hospital, and Tyler we don't really find out much about what happens to him other than I don't believe he was like sentenced or put in jail or anything. I think that maybe it got worked out or something. I'm not sure. I feel like we're about to get his story of what happened since the day that he rescued her. So the beautiful thing about this is that Holly is very innocent. You know, like, she is 11 years older from when she was 5, you know, when she was initially kidnapped. But you can tell that she has missed out on, like, crucial society things, like when she would be raised, you know, like she has like this sense of innocence and she's very naive about things that are happening, and I feel like that is very suitable for her character, and it's a little bit endearing, and I really like that. She's also definitely struggling with some PTSD issues and triggers that come up. We're kind of just barely starting to learn what happened with her and her kidnapper, and it's a beautifully compelling story for sure, and I cannot wait to get to the romance, because it opens, she's 16 and then 2 years pass, so now she's like 18-ish, and she's still living in what appears to be like maybe like a mental health home or a group home for people who've had trauma, things like that. And probably the only complaint that I have is really just how her parents are reacting to her coming home. Like, they don't appear to have really missed her, honestly. Like, that's probably a big issue of mine, is because I'm like, if my child was kidnapped and I got them back, like, I would be ecstatic and I would be a mess and I would never let them out of my sight again, you know? And her parents seem very, like, hands-off type of parents, and I can tell that that is probably like a plot device. It's gonna come in handy. But I also feel like that's the only, out of this whole story, which seems kind of bonkers, that's the only point where I'm like, I know, like, terrible parents exist, but, like, I don't know if that, like, if you found your daughter who you thought was dead, probably, I would literally be ecstatic, like a sobbing, grateful mess. But anyway, we really don't have much interaction between the two of them yet, so I've left off just when she sees him now, as 2 years later, 2 years from when he rescued her, and she has referred to him as her prince and the man who saved her, and she's definitely like hero worshipping him, and I'm very excited for what happens now. Cosmo, what are you doing? So I feel like things are going to start heating up, and I'm very excited about that. So I'm really loving it. I just am in love with this cover. Like, I know there was a special edition that Hello Lovely Box did recently. I didn't get it because I don't know why. And I like the special edition, but this cover is just stunning. So, very impressed with Carrie Ann Cole's ability to just create stories that are just really pushing the limits, but that feel believable, you know, because I feel like sometimes you have an author who really puts maybe some bizarre things in their book, but they just don't seem plausible at all. And it's not necessarily what the issue is or the circumstances, it's so much more as it is how they're telling the story. And I feel like Carrie Ann Cole does a great job of just telling a very convincing story, as in, yeah, this bonkers, bizarre, terrible thing happened, and we're gonna tell you their story, and they're gonna get a happily ever after. So I'm very excited about that. I'm loving it so far. I will update you when we get to some more some romance, because so far we haven't had any. But I know it's coming.
For riddles
he has something, right? Of course he does. Let's see. Okay, so thank you. Let's keep it right here. It's a little, this used to be a raccoon toy. I'll just leave it right there, okay? Okay? Yeah? Alright, so let's talk about Tide. I am now on chapter 16. I'm this far in, a little over halfway through. And by the way, full disclosure, he just stole his toy. The nerve. I did not finish this. This is more than a 24-hour reading vlog because I couldn't finish this in a day. Things just got busy with my family and work. So that's okay though. It's just going to be a one book vlog this time. So I'm at chapter 16, and at this point we are, so the last time that I updated you, they had just met after he had rescued her from her kidnapping. So now she is 19. I'm not entirely sure how old he is. I don't think there's much of an age. I don't think that's really what this book is about, is that there's an age gap. He is older than her, but I'm not sure by how much. It's not really a huge point of the plot. So the thing that I think is most compelling for me about this book, but also about Torn, is that I feel like both of the love stories started, the romance begins when the hero rescues the heroine in some way. You know, it was a little bit smaller in Torn. I feel like the moment that she started to see him as someone she could love and want to be with was when she was at prom with that douchebag teenage boy who wanted to do more than she wanted to, and she called Tor and he came and rescued her. And this begins, obviously, when he rescues her from when she was like 16, 17, from kidnapping. You know, he literally kills her kidnapper, the man that abused her for 11 years. Can I have that? Thank you. No, you can't have it. And I feel like that is just really interesting that in both of these books she chose to tell a story of a young, vulnerable, possibly a little bit naive heroine who is rescued from another man in a way that feels very like fairy tale-esque, you know? Like, I feel like there is Holly in this book, when she was kidnapped with a backpack full of books that had fairy tales in them. It's a big part of her character throughout the whole thing, like how much she loved those. The opening scene actually involves those fairy tale books, and she calls Ty her white knight, like in her head and everything, like he is her savior, he's her rescuer. But I feel like that is something that makes these books so powerful, and I feel like that's something that makes them resonate with so many people, is the concept of being somewhere with a man who is abusive in some way. You know, maybe it's big, maybe it's small. In a way, you're with a man and he's abusing his power over you and is cruel to you and is hurting you. And in each of those books, the hero saves the day, saves them from that man. And I think no matter where you're at in life, that is a concept that will probably resonate with a lot of women. The whole hope of having a white knight come and save you from a man who is abusive or who is hurting you in some way. I feel like most women in their lifetime will have an experience with a man like that, where they wish someone would come and rescue them and save them, you know? So I feel like I love how she's like tapping into that desire and that draw of that story, and she's telling it in such a unique way, whereas in Torn, hello, it's the age gap concept that he sort of helped raise her, and that's the moment when she sees him as a man, someone she would desire and want for the first time. And in this story, it's about when Holly literally has been so sheltered and she's been so hurt and abused. She doesn't really have any concept of the outside world other than what this man has allowed her to see, which isn't very much at all. And in comes Tyler. He's scarred. He's been in two accidents that have really scarred and damaged his face and has disfigured his voice. And I feel like that's the Beauty and the Beast concept too, which I just love so much. So I feel like Tyler also finds saving in her when he rescues her and he kills her attacker, her abuser, because she looks at him and she doesn't see his flaws. She doesn't see the scars. She sees a savior. And I just freaking love that so much. I love so much how these two very damaged people are able to, like, they don't even recognize what the other one considers damaging about them, you know? Like, she sees his scars and she hears his voice, but it isn't unattractive to her in any way, you know? Oh my gosh, I just love it so freaking much. And I feel like in the same way that he sees her naivete, you know, like her innocence, I guess, in a way, but it's not off-putting to him, but it's also not something that he... The doorstop is very fun to play with. But it's also not something that he would ever exploit, because he's a man of honor, you know? I just love that. I feel like she's telling such interesting stories here. And she's building these characters that are just so complex, and they make you root for them, and like, I am deeply invested in these characters. And I feel like that's another thing that she is winning at in both of these books, is that she does some really excellent characterization, because that is a hill I will die on. If a book fails for me, it's almost always because the characters didn't feel real. They did not feel like real people that I cared about, or they did things that weren't in character for them, like things that maybe they were in a position to do to either force the plot along or to force the author's agenda along, you know? And I feel like that's also something, I talked about this in my recent Lisa Kleypas video. I feel like that's what she is excellent at, is telling stories about the characters. She's telling you stories about their life, you know. It's such a beautiful thing to see. I just am completely in love with this book. It's so slow building, but it's not, I mean, it has to be, right? It has to be. With a story like theirs, with so much trauma they're both striving to overcome, it has to be slow moving, or else it's gonna fail, you know? So it's so beautiful watching them very gradually start to trust each other. And out of all of the people in her life, you know, she definitely has trust issues, Holly does, because of what she's been through. But she implicitly trusts Tyler because he saved her, you know? It's just so compelling. I just love it so much. So that's an update for you. That's what's happening so far. And I'm gonna keep reading this and work and have some lunch. And I guess, did you get your toy back? Would you like to come say hello to the people? Come here. Oh, there you are. This is the camera. Look up here. See, look how handsome I am. Oh, he's so pretty, boy. I think he's the most handsome doggo. All right, I'll come back with another update. I don't know at what point, but soon. So pretty, boy.
Slow night will fade away and we go back to...
Hello, my friends. It is 32 hours later from when I started this vlog, so not too bad. I mean, it's not like I am way removed from my goal of 24-hour reading vlog, but also not super great at it. So I just finished working, and then I just also finished listening to the audio for Tide, and I really loved this book. I will say that I think I like Torn a little bit better. I think that of the two, Torn is definitely my favorite, but this book was so beautiful, especially the bonus ending. And when we find out why Tyler got in the fire in the first place, like, you don't find that out until the very end. It just felt like kismet, serendipity. It was beautiful. I do really, really love the way that Carrie Ann Cole wrote this, and I feel like I felt the same way in Torn, and I will say Torn is my favorite. I know I said that, but I just want to emphasize that I did really love this one. This is a 5-star read. Torn is more like a 6-star. It's like above 5-star. Torn was just, oh, so good. But this was just so completely beautiful, and I dearly, dearly love how this is something that I really love in my romance novels, and I feel like she did that so well here, is when you have two people who are a little scared to trust and are scared to open up and to love, but they feel this draw to that other person. And you can watch them make these little steps and small gestures where they're just putting it out there a little bit to see how it's returned, and watching the other person like accept that, and that trust grows, and then they end up, you know, making even further steps to grow the relationship. And I just love that so much, and I feel like that was done so beautifully here. The way Tyler loved her, like, he was just this fierce guardian for her. He was so protective of her. He was so tender with her. And the guilt that each of them feel about what happened that caused all of the trauma from everything that, basically the events that caused all the trauma in their life. You can tell that they have a lot of mixed up feelings in there, but this book was magical, honestly. Like, their love story was so pure, and it was just absolutely beautiful. Honestly, I just adored this. I feel like this series, both of these, will be books that I will reread, and I don't enjoy rereading, quite honestly. I would prefer to find new favorite books, but these were so beautiful, and I feel like they just hit me on such a level that I would definitely reread these. I just adored it, honestly. Like, I feel like the characters were so well fleshed out. Every action that they made and every thought that they made just felt so in sync with who they were as a person. It felt very genuine. It felt very real. Even though you have so much damage in these people's lives, you have so much trauma, like so much trauma. You know, I feel like if it wasn't handled as beautifully as it was, I would feel like, okay, here we go. We're just really going to give all these characters all of this drama. But for me, I felt like it was handled so softly and so tenderly. Like, it seems like it's handled with a great deal of care, because we have sexual assault, we have abduction, we have fire, drug abuse, you know, like, so many things happen to these people. So much loss happens to them. And I feel like this is one of those cases where you see them go through, like, such extremes that probably in real life 2 people wouldn't go through this much. I mean, maybe not never, but watching them get to have their happily ever after was just beautiful. And like I said, like, the bonus ending in here honestly just made it so worthwhile. Like, I loved the bonus ending. I love this believe in your fairy tale. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. I feel like these books, these are the type of books that make me believe in true love, in soulmates, and it's just perfect. I loved it. I loved it so much. So this is definitely going on to my favorite shelf. It was just beautiful. I adored it. It was perfect. So I hope you enjoyed this brief little look into my life and reading of one book. I had a great time reading. I had a great time talking with you about this, and it was a good time. So I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for coming along on this little journey with me, and I'll see you all in my next video. Oh, also, if you have made it this far, please leave me a fox emoji for Boomer. Thank you, my friends. I'll see y'all in my next video.